That's a little bit off-putting. So
it was funny, and we are so powerful that we are going forward towards the light. So you were about to start discussing the avatar system.
yeah, let's just get into the really important part. So
Let's go.
yeah, okay, let's see what we can do. Yeah, so basically, so when you create, I'm just getting the point. So when we can edit that part out. So when we
I'm gonna do a recap. Sorry, David. Let me do a recap. So we are reviewing the OASIS API right now. That is that is integrating all the technological platforms to operate in unity consciousness within the technological sphere of the new paradigm. And we are talking about an OASIS API that will allow to, well, it's actually based on an avatar system. So users have just one sign-on across all the different ecosystems of technology. And this avatar system is connected with a karma system. And David is just about to describe the avatar system. So David, go on, brother.
Sorry, I still laugh. Yeah, I'm still in shock. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
we had a little bit of a spam. That's why we're laughing, because we are recapping based on what happened. And we had this spam because of the power of what we're doing. But we are moving forward. So
yeah. So basically, soon it'll be like I'll do another video soon, another demo. Maybe in a few weeks.
Let's go on this one. Come on, let's go on this one.
No. I mean, like, the next one's going to show OASIS platform.world. That would be the UI. This is what I wanted to show in the demo. Like, so it wasn't just the back end. I was going to show you the UI to actually call into this the working front end demo of it. But this is just showing you the back end, so people can plug into it now, and they can call these methods, and they can create their own so, for example, like if they want to plug in the avatar system to existing website, this is how they do it. And the first method you call will be called API OASIS platform.world /API avatar register. And then in there, this is why like this thing called Swagger comes with .NET. It's not just .NET, it's everything. It's quite good. It shows examples in it. So when you create your avatar, you've got the standard kind of like, username, use your credentials. And avatar type can be, I think it's user or wizard. So wizard is basically admin, and I call it wizard. I don't know. I just called wizard, and I realized later on it's like wizard, like Anorak. Anorak is the wizard, and I've always played as a wizard in all role-playing games. This is another parallel, by the way. I said to James Halliday, I've always played as a wizard my whole life.
James Halliday, the creator of Ready Player One, because we're discussing OASIS API, really inspired. Well, actually, not inspired by the book, but the book was is kind of like a prophecy of what is actually being done right now, we could say.
Yeah.
But we're mentioning James Halliday as the creator of the OASIS in that movie that is so famous, and that actually had its second version released, the book, Ready Player 2, yesterday. Just recapping for the people who will watch this video, David. Go on.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. So it's quite standard stuff. It's like you register and you send in like a JSON object, which is that's what JSON object looks like. So like plain text, and then you get back like success, and then what happens? You get back a token. It's this thing called JSON Web Tokens, so JWT for short, like a standard kind of security authentication standard. But I'm going to be adding other standards like OpenAuth and OpenAPI. Also going to be integrating into holochains, Persona, security as well, and threefold as well. My vision is to have it so you can choose what security model you want to use and what authentication persona models you want to use. That's the whole point of OASIS API. It doesn't force you to like just do it like my way or the highway. It's a very open, generic, extendable system. That's why it's called the Open Advanced Sensory Motion System. That's what it stands for. Yes, so basically, and you will see on every single method there's a standard one. And when you call a standard one, that will use a default provider, which is currently configured to MongoDB until I finish integrating the holochain stuff. Because the holochain stuff was about to be done, and then they brought out a new holochain RSM. Bless them, that's what they keep doing. And every time you think it's done, then they refactor it. So I'm currently that's what I'm working on next, is the new holochain RSM, refactor state model, and then a default provider be holochain.
You're meeting with them, David, right? You're meeting with David Atkinson from Holochain tomorrow.
Yeah, and I've reached out.
The second part.
Yeah, second part tomorrow. So I think it's going to come out together. So he's done one part, and then so when you register, it uses the default provider, which is currently MongoDB. But and then it shouldn't be Holochain. But what I'll show you in a minute in the code, you can change it. So anyone who hosts this, because this is just one example, this thing called O nodes, OASIS nodes, and they're like Oracle nodes if you're in the blockchain world, and they're like have multiple ones of these, and each one you can configure the default providers and other options and settings, which I'll show you in a minute in the code. But if you want, on each call you can override that. That's why each one has this it's called overload in technical terms. So you can register it and pass in provider type, and provider type will be one of these at the top that you saw earlier: MongoDB OASIS, Holochain, HoloOasis, Ethereum OASIS, EOSOIO. And there'll be many more to come. Like I said here, Freefall will be added soon, ActivityPub, IPFS, Solid, Blockstack, and everything else, basically the whole internet. This is why this is going. I know this is going to be massive when the whole world starts joining in, and every developer, like the whole world is the OWL team, the OASIS team, and it's because it's open source. So then this will just mushroom. It'll be every provider, every single thing out there. I'm just laying the architecture. I've done a few example ones, but I don't have to build all these. This is why I want to help build out these providers. So this is just like an example. So that's what this provider type is. Every method has a provider type. So you pass in one of these, and it's just like exactly as that. You just paste that in, and then set globally is a true or false flag. So then when you pass in true, that means every call from now on will use that provider. So if you pass in the default to MongoDB, say, and then if you pass in Holochain to override that and said true, then at that point on, every single call to OASIS on this node will then use Holochain. That makes sense. Or if you just use it as false, then that just means only use that provider for this one call and then revert back to the default. So that's basically what that is. Yeah, and this is what's good with Spago. You can get all the information here. So you can see this is basically better get hold of an avatar for given ID, and then you can get an idea of like the avatar object. That's the avatar object that currently is there. Just standard stuff, but you notice this thing got karma. You got karma in that level, avatar type, and that's the security tokens I said about, and that's the refresh tokens. And yeah, because when you get a token, it will expire after like a certain amount of time, and then you can refresh it. That's kind of standard sort of best practice security stuff. And you also see it's got things called there. You can see things like holon type. It's got holons and zones. You've got celestial bodies. Celestial bodies is a moon or planet. And then you've got holons in here. So every object, the base object in the race is a holon. And a holon is holonic, and that means that it's like a fractal thing. So it can be on its own, but it can also be part of a greater whole, which is how the universe works, because everything's holonic. So everything's like a separate thing, but it's also part of a greater whole. So everything's interconnected. That's what a holon is. And Chris Larky, my good friend, he's really into his holons, and most other people won't look into holons as well. So that's what's been designed. At the core of the OASIS uses holons as a base object, and I'll show you that in a minute as well. I just wondered if you guys is it because I can do two ways. I can jump into the code as I'm talking about it as I'm going through here, or would you rather me go through all this bit to show you the endpoints and then show you the code after? That's what I was going to do. I don't know what people prefer.
Probably the endpoint, like an overarching, you know.
Yeah, so overview first. That's it. Yeah, and then deep dive. Well, we get lost. If I take you into the OASIS now, yeah, you can get lost in there.
Overwhelming. So, yes. So just try to do an overarching structure.
Yeah,
you know, like the high level, so people understand the power of or the infrastructure of what it's already built.
This is like so you call the register method like you saw, and you get back the token, and then you'll get an email, and then you confirm your email address for the token, which then validates your avatar, and then once you've validated your avatar and then your account's activated, then you can pass in your token that you get back from that validation into all future calls, and that's called like a JSON Web Token, a security token. And you pass that as the header in all future API calls. So that's the technical part, just explaining. That's the kind of the flow for using OASIS API, which is that's kind of standard stuff. So that's what authenticate is. Refresh your tokens, revoke the token, register, and authenticate is login. You know, once you've got your account, you can log in with username, password, obviously. So that's a verified email. If you can forget your password, reset token, reset your password. Oh, here's another interesting one. So you add karma to avatar. So this is the karma system. So you add karma to your avatar, and that's the avatar ID and the karma type. And the karma type is like pick up litter or donate to charity, plant a tree in the rainforest, make progress in a mindfulness app or a meditation app. I can show you all the types in a minute, but just anything you can think of. I've got a list, but people can add to it again because it's open, because that's going to grow massively, because you can karma for all sorts of things, and then you can also lose karma for all sorts of things. So you can add karma and remove karma, and that's where it came from. So the karma source type, and that's like an app, website, game, service, whatever it is, and then that's the title of it. So that'd be like, so for our world, it'd be like, you know, I don't know, like hug someone who looks sad in the game, and then source type the game, and title will be our world, and then description of that. So,
yeah, we've also been talking about the karma system being based on what we've, you know, in many of our discussions with many powerful, you know, technologists, and also people expert in governance systems and health systems and in finance, connecting this karma system with a protocol of coherence, which basically is connected with when your bioenergy field and your biofield is in a coherent state. It means that you are, as an avatar in the game, you are operating from your center, from your aligned point, and you're able to move around the game in the most optimal way. So, you know, everyone avatar that we represent will have this avatar karma system connected with the coherence of the biofield that is actually ruled by the heart. So we are actually laying the foundation of turning this planet into a heart-based civilization, which means that when someone is acting from their heart, receive the positive karma that will enable that person to keep in a state of abundance, developing those actions. So this is the foundation for this planet as the infrastructure, the technological infrastructure for every player in the game of life that we are redesigning to be financially and abundantly supported to really develop what is encoded in his or her biofield information that is ruled by the heart. This is something that we are discussing with other groups, and what David is presenting is the infrastructure that will enable that to happen as a one single sign-on among all these technological platforms.
Yeah.
Go on, David.
It connects the whole world. So rather than having all different silos and all different accounts and all different logins, it's just one avatar, like the digital twin limited, that follows you around. And this is a standard. So this is the bare bones. This is the basics. I've got lots more to build, add to this. This is why I said I'm a perfectionist. I wasn't quite ready to show this yet to the world, but Lumi and the universe has been forcing me and giving me signs saying, "Yeah, go for it now." It's still like, can we, like, people get enough idea of it, but it's just nothing compared to what's in my head. It's just so you know, there's loads more going to be added to this. This is where you like bare bones, like step one or phase 0. And then because it's like the API for the whole world, it's just to give you an idea, and it's going to be lots more. So you can, like you see Ready Player One and read the book, you can chat in there. You know, you can check your emails, you can check your social feed, you can do everything. You can play a game, you can do your business transactions, you can go shopping, whatever you like. So this is just giving you an idea of other parts of it coming on. And this is the bit about the core. The core is the star, like it can generate the moons and planets. I'll show you the code for this. This is the next bit I'm working on. This bit excites me the most, the core, the star that creates the actual moons and planets. That's, yeah. won't get too geeky, but it's really pretty cool. I went on a mad channeling frenzy in August and September. Like, if people follow my tech updates, I went into overdrive then, and I paid the price in October. I was ill or October. I kind of went a bit crazy. But I'll show you what I was building like a mad scientist in September and August. Done about a year's work in 2 months. But, so in data, it is another cool bit. So data is like an avatar is basically built on top of this. So a holon, so avatar inherits from a holon, but this is like a lower level, so base level, and then you can load and save holons, and then you can load and save holons to any provider type. So this is how you can transfer data around the OASIS, and you can transfer, and you can choose where the holon is stored and permissions it's got, and where it's shared. And one of the cool things that I heard Art talking about in the call recently was one of the uses for holochain could be to store off-chain. If you're into blockchain, you know the problem is it has problems with scaling and problems storing large objects on it. So like this is why part of it to address that cause that need is you can save a holon off-chain. So you have a base object which is a basic like low-level data on one provider, and then you can store more metadata, like more detailed information on another provider. So this is your off-chain provider and your on-chain provider type. So that could be like on-chain provider Ethereum, off-chain provider Holochain, or so off-chain provider could be IPFS, or it could even be Google document or an Excel spreadsheet. It could be anything you want. Like so it's just a way of linking different providers together. So that's going to be really powerful. That's a big deal in the blockchain world, just so you know. And then, oops, and then delete. And this is just giving an idea of like in OASIS. In OASIS, I'm going to have like I'm not going to have to die before I have an egg, but a treasure hunt to find the egg in OASIS. Like, I'm not planning to die anytime soon, hopefully. So then basically, I thought we have like a treasure hunt, finding the egg like every year, and a big one every year, and maybe every month or every quarter there'll be an egg hunt going on. So the gunters will love that kind of thing. So I'm going to have clues around the OASIS, and you can go and find your eggs and comment eggs. So this is kind of
I had downloads in regards to the eggs of them becoming not just one golden egg, but in fact having a light egg and a dark egg that would represent the light and dark within each one of us. So it would be a quest to really, find the light within each one of us, and at the same time confront the darkness. So it would be, like parallel quests in regards to light and shadow within all of us to really create a beautiful dance that integrates, as Carl Jung said, the shadow as well as the beautiful light that we all have. So that's connected. Yeah, that's connected with what David was discussing about this Solfi API that will allow to measure what is the light that each one of us is either reflecting or absorbing, which is connected with our health status, and which is connected with our what is our state of coherence. So that's something that will be infusing the OASIS with the measurement of our own inner state, which is absolutely revolutionary. It's really understanding what is all based on, which is our consciousness itself, that is deeply connected with how much light we are either reflecting or absorbing, based on the biotechnologist that is such an expert on this, Mohan Kumar, that at some point will, I believe, present and how he's working with you, David. Sorry to interject. Go on.
Yes, it's why I can't wait. Like, because I knew I'm just like an architect. I'm just laying the foundations part, and then everyone else is going to bring in the content, like Lumi said, like all of the pieces. Everyone else building the branches. So like that's what the beautiful thing about co-creation. Because every time I share this with people, they go, "Oh, that's cool. What you thought of this idea?" And that gives me a new idea, and we bounce ideas each other, and we just build something really beautiful. It's amazing, and I can't wait. And I feel the party's about to begin. So this is ground zero. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Cool. Yes, that's the eggs. That's a good idea. And then there's files, so you can store files in there as well. But this is going to be a lot more as well. This is just giving you an idea of future bits that are coming on. When you unlock badges, or what's going to call badges, but now I call them gifts. So actually level up your avatar and you unlock the abilities. I call them gifts. So you have on your avatar profile screen, you'll have your gifts unlocked, and then like you show you different gifts you have for the world. And that's, I can feel that's a really big area as well. It's going to be, that's just give you an idea. And then so the bits that really developed right now, just so you know, what's there now is the avatar and karma system. So all the karma calls and all the avatar calls is what I've been working on, and the rest is what's coming next, especially the data. That's they're the core building blocks of like the OASIS. And then basically each in karma you can get the positive karma ratings and negative karma ratings. So they say I'm not going to play God, so then like basically this is open for discussion as well. There's going to be like every new moon people can vote, like a day, like people can vote for like the different ratings. Each person, each avatar of the OASIS can vote like what they think the next karma rate. So we can fine tune it. So basically we can all co-create how we feel karma system should be like balanced. And it's a thing called law of one and law of balance. So as long as and it'll pass as long as like and the law of balance I had in, so that sort of rules built into it are going to be, so you can't like give higher karma ratings to a human being over an animal or plant. This is things that humanity need a bit of guiding hand. So I don't want people like voting down like devaluing an animal or plant over a human being, because all value is equal and all life is sacred and all life is equal. So I want to make sure like animals and nature and humans are counted as equals. So that's just a few little things in there, but other than that, it's open, so people can each new moon can vote for what ratings they like for it, and then they can see current ratings. Again, this is all open and things, so it's just a stage one to get us going. And another big part of the OASIS is the map, because like I said, on the smartphone version, it's a decentralized distributed replacement for Google Maps, Google Earth, and I'm not sure you guys have seen the videos yet. It's like a 3D map of the world. And then, like I said earlier, you can go and quest and do things, quests in parks. But all the apps and games that plug into the OASIS and our world can also draw their own sprite, their own 3D object on the map. And this is how you do it. So you draw a 2D object or 3D object in X, Y coordinates on a map, and then that object will represent that website, app, or game, or whatever service it is that's plugging into our world or the OASIS. So that if it's like planting trees in the rainforest organization, there might be a tree, like a magic tree on a map, and you go on that tree, and then you can walk into that tree, and then it'll show you stats on that app and about background of it, and then you can launch that app or website or game from within our world or the OASIS. So that's the bit that's like what you see in Ready Player One, where you don't have to keep coming out and launch another app or another game or another website. So Google Chrome, iOS, Windows and Linux will be a thing in the past, because it'll be integrated into OASIS. Like you've seen OASIS is for an XR environment. You don't need to like alt tab out and close it down and check emails or launch an app, another application that all plug in. So this is the beginning of that. Yeah, I just wish I was further ahead, but I guess I think it's divine timing, like, you know, because this has been in my head for so long, and the first demo to the world, I wanted to be like, da-da, and show all this fully working, but this is why I need developers, so please come and help me build it, because it's so much to build. And
yeah, I want to share a key feature that is in the Imagineering department right now for the mapping features, which is like a navigation tool, you know, like having a navigation tool that allows every player to be guided to where the heart will find that his field or its field gets in a much coherent state, which is it's like the technical way of saying creating an audiovisual compass that is actually the technologized version of your heart's inner intuitive intelligence. So having a navigation tool that will allow you to follow those places that your heart somehow is pointing you. And I want to bring here the example, for example, of it's a very famous group. David is saying, you know, integrating with many players that have already developed their parts of games. I want to bring here Randonautica, which has been become extremely famous, and it's based on an understanding of the quantum randomness of this reality that we are living in, and it's you know, pointing and in the maps to people where they should go based on an intention that they are projecting. What we are envisioning is the next level of that, which is actually connecting the navigation tool with the intention, but that is also connected with your own heart. And that's based on biofield technology, on and understanding it from a quantum perspective as well. So we are talking about redesigning, or I like the word imagineering the game of life from a very heart-based perspective, so that for the first time we use technology to really empower what we have within, instead of just imposing on top of us what we should be paying attention to. Just the opposite, empowering ourselves to really allow and understand that our most sacred inner space is meant to be paid attention to, taken into consideration, and in fact expanded outwards from the inside out. So this is the navigation tool that will allow us to traverse realities on the spatial web, which is another technology that we're really connected to, for players to keep going in this game of life.
Yeah, I just said briefly, like part of that in Avatar, you're able to see your chakras, your aura as well, and you're able to like see what gifts each avatar has, and you better see light quotas in it as well. So when you're running on a game, you see people's chakras are glowing brighter, different colors, and people's different auras with different colors, and the light, the radius around them will be brighter than some and others, and that's reflected to the level the avatars at, and how much inner work they've done, which maps to how much yoga classes have gone to, how much mindfulness meditation apps have done. That's why I said all the things that plug into it. So as you unlock your do the self-help apps and do quests and things either in our world or the things that plug into it, then you level up and you get the badges, and your avatar will represent it. Your avatar will become stronger, start glowing more, and it look more healthy. But if you like eat McDonald's and then you'll get fatter and you lose karma, and so that's kind of eat healthy. Yeah, as I said, you scan the food into the game. So you have a green smoothie or salad, then your avatar will drink that smoothie at plus 10 health, or put a crystal around the neck and you scan that into the game, and you have plus 10 health amulet, and then you'll level up, and then you can run further. So, in the games, in the OASIS and Ready Play 1, you can run forever. In other games, you never need to like rest, but in this one, you need to rest and log out and sleep and eat food. And the more healthy you are in real life, the more healthy your avatar will be. So then you can fight the dragons. And
let's get to what we have now, because we can make it. I mean, we have the vision of what it's gonna become, but I think we just jumped into the imagineering aspect of it. Probably it's better that we stick back to what you have, David, because it was being really powerful. Sorry to interject there.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just because you're talking about that, so I just
I know.
Anyway, this creates like draw a route between two holons on the map, and then so you can just draw just route. So it's got a routing API, so anywhere you can draw a route there, and you can find a route to your quests or parks or whatever object it is. You can control the map, highlight different buildings in the map, pan around, zoom in, zoom out, select the quest on the map, select the hole on the map. This is so much better when you can see in my head as I'm talking through this. I can see the UI. I can see what it actually looks like in UI, but it hasn't been built yet, and that's why I need that Unity developers to help. When you have it's easy to visualize it, and building the backend architecture is taking a long time, but building the UI takes even longer. And then a messaging, send a message to an avatar. Missions is like a collection of quests. You have quests and missions. So missions, as I said, complete a mission and create missions. OASIS applications. You can see what OAPs you've got installed. You want to see the moons before that plug into our world. And OASIS, that gets all your OASIS applications that are plugged in. This is like more for like power users. This is like the provider manager, so you can get all the registered providers like Holochain, Ethereum, EOS.io, the entire internet basically. Eventually that'll list, and then you can get different categories, providers, different categories. And categories I'll show you in a minute is like network, storage. I think it's 3 at a minute. Yeah, storage, network, and renderer. So renderer is like UI, and obviously storage and network. If you can figure out what that is. And this is how you can get hold of the different parts. Yeah, storage, network, renderers, like as I said. and you can just check if it's provided. So hopefully, yeah, you can look at this yourself. It's pretty obvious what it's doing. Is how you full control of the OASIS. You can register different providers and register providers. The cool thing as well, you don't have to like recompile the OASIS. You don't have to a new provider comes out. You don't have to recompile it or rebuild your app. It automatically start using it. This is how it's live. You can register a provider in real time. So like, and that's why cool thing about it. When you build your OASIS applications, you build it for the future, because you build it now and you write the code once, deploy everywhere. And then any future network comes out, like Holochain 10 or Ethereum 24 or whatever it is, you don't have to port all your code, because you're using the OASIS API. It hides that away from you, so you can just like, it's future proofing it, so that automatically you can always deploy it and it will automatically run on any other network, any future network or protocol that comes out. And then you can have full control of that, and all your data is automatically migrated across as well. So that's the power of OASIS API. It's like an abstraction layer over all these low-level complexities, all over the providers. That makes sense. But at the same time, for power users, this is what's showing you can drill down and you still got the power. This is what I love. My software I always design. It's always very intuitive and simple to use. But for power users, you can go into advanced mode. And advanced mode, you can dig down and have full control. So like people have full control of something, but automatically I hide those complexities away. But right now I'm showing you this is a low level underlying bits of how the providers work. And you say you can set the default providers, saying a bit earlier on, you can, that's like a common list of what all the providers that go in. So it'll go like, you can say Holochain, Ethereum, Mongo, and then it'll automatically fall over. If one goes down, it might go, right, switch to that provider, switch to the next provider. That makes sense, switch to the next one. The same load balancing. So that's the failover load balancing. That's where I can't stress how powerful that is. If you understand it, if you understand the implications of that, that is basically the vision of the internet. Like, it's like load balancing the entire internet, and replicating the entire internet. Like, because that, maybe these providers plug into everything. This is where you hope you understand. It's hard to explain what I'm talking about, but hopefully when you get it, when you get the light bulb, you're like, oh my god, this changes everything, because you know when you get it, because it's mind blowing. Yeah, and then you can set auto replication as well. So that's why I said when you can set like different parts of different objects like your avatar or different holons, you can set when it auto replicates in the background. So you save it to one provider, Holochain say, and automatically propagate across the rest of the internet, or what providers you choose. So that's what's built. That's what I focus on most. What's really built now is the provider, avatar, and karma system. So the three pillars. So like the holy trinity of the OASIS is the avatar, karma, and provider system. That's what I've been working on all this time. Yeah. But it's taken a lot longer than I thought. And then the crest is like I said, you've got crests. You've already explained what crests are, and you can find crests in the maps. And then just skim over this. And the mission is collection of crests, and this is also just smart contract management system. This is like part of what I built for BEB, but I'm going to be like hiding some of this away, because some of it's generic parts that can be used, and some parts are just going to be for BEB. But this is about like a workflow smart contract management system. And seeds, this is where I start plugging the seeds API. So now I joined Hypha and I'm still working with them. So I'm currently negotiating. I think that they want to onboard our world. So I'm thinking they want to like do a incubation for our world and OASIS API. So it's taking a little while for them to understand it, but they're starting to get there. So hopefully soon I'll be building out the seeds part of this. So that's like rewarding seeds. I was working on the WordPress plugins, but for them as part of the seeds API, but that was killing my soul. I was like, no, like anyone can build a WordPress plugin, but only
we're also planning to integrate with Threefold, right? Like, and I've been talking to people from Threefold, with Christoph, with Adnan,
yeah, and Versus as well. That's what's coming next. And after this, I'm going on to Holochain RSM, the refactor state model, the new Holochain. Then I'm going on to Threefold and Versus, the protocol that got the semantic web. I didn't mention. I've reached out to Dan. I've emailed Dan, so I'm waiting for Dan to get back to me. So I'm waiting for Dan.
Well, James Hanusa has had to leave the call, but James Hanusa is really representing, and is really interconnected with the Virtual World Society and with the major infrastructures of virtual worlds. So he's also a futurist in residence of Versus. Also from Burning Man. So we have everything, on our fingertips. So we just needed to hear you lay down this backbone as you're doing, David, and the rest is just going to follow beautifully. So very excited for this.
And then this is settings. We get settings for the avatar, and then there's sharing. It's about you can share your holons. That's the holon ID and the avatar ID. All your social feeds like Facebook, Twitter, all of that all feed into this. So like, you know, like you don't have to have 20 logins and checking all your different like social feeds and different accounts. It just be like fully integrated into the OASIS. And that's the backbone for this, and registered social providers, stats and videos. You can do video conference like this. So one day you won't need to Zoom. You'll be doing this call one day inside the OASIS, like for example, for your avatars. And this is just some, I want to go into this. Does it show you? Oh no, it doesn't. How to show you the code? This is auto-generated, by the way. So yeah, so that's basically the top level OASIS API. So I don't. Should I show you the code, or do you want to take questions first, then show you the code?
Maybe some questions first. I'm interested in hearing Debbie, who's an expert in artificial intelligence, and what is your impression on what David has presented so far? And maybe you have particular questions or recommendations on where to take also forward this presentation or demo.
Yeah, thank you. I would love to see some of the examples of the user interface, but from what I see of the back office support that you built here, David, this is really the dream, to rise above all the noise and have your single avatar where you have full governance and control over everywhere on the internet, all your applications, all your security, all your personal data. And then the game sounds like fun. It applies to the real world to inspire kids to pick up litter or to, you know, act from heart-centered leadership, do the right things in their community, so that we have a more wonderful world than Ready Player One. And let's see what Ready Player Two is going to look like here.
Yeah, and that's really, I just read that in the book last night. Like James Halliday's business partner, Ready Player One, he quit the company, it's called GSS, because he didn't like what the race has become. He said it become a monster because it basically everything was escaping reality into the races rather than addressing the needs of the world, and like it created a dystopia future, dystopia world, and he quit, and he created educational games for kids, like venture games for kids, and that's exactly what this is. This is an educational game platform, not just for kids but for everyone. But my biggest drive is to teach kids the right life lessons rather than playing violent Call of Duty games and GTA and stealing cars and blowing each other up. So it's like, and to get kids out of the bedrooms into nature and reconnecting each other, like face-to-face interactions. Don't want them to be jacked into the races all day, like in Ready Player One. Like we want to like have breaks and get into nature, encourage face-to-face interactions, and help give people the right life lessons and the tools to build a better world. That's why it's called Together and Create a Better World. It's supposed to be a training platform so we can learn how to create a better world and put a different society and come together in unity consciousness. That's why I said it's the parallel, evolved utopia version of Ready Player One. I'm like the parallel Anuak from the parallel universe. I'm like the Anuak who had an awakening and realized and is more in his heart than in his head. The other James Halliday was in his head completely and didn't really just wanted to escape from life rather than try to solve the problems. And he didn't do the inner work. The other James Halliday didn't do the inner work. So he just ran away from his problems and went in his head, which is like the autistic journey, like I used to be. Then I turned and faced and done the inner work and healing. And then I'll work on heart energy and love. And now I'm building this, which is the reflection of that inner work. First time I said it like that. That's quite a nice way of putting it.
Beautiful,
so,
beautiful.
Yeah. I just came from my heart. I just came out of my heart. I started to understand in 7 years, because the first 7 years was the inner work and building foundations and me doing the inner work and transforming. Because you met me 10 years ago, I was like James Halliday at Ready Player One. I was like him, complete. I couldn't do this. I couldn't talk. I stuttered. No way could I talk to the public. I was really like eccentric and autistic. And now I'm ready to like reflect it. Now I've done inner work. Now it's time to reflect that on the outer. Now this is the manifestation of that inner work. This is like the conscious version of the conscious OASIS, not just escaping the world OASIS.
So to be clear, we were talking about augmented reality and mixed reality and virtual reality, because people sometimes just think of the OASIS as just escaping into another place, but we're talking about integrating virtual with physical in a seamless way. It's basically recreating the world, creating a mirror world of the real world, whatever real is, but through these gradations of reality, which is, again, to really interconnect us all much better and reconnect us with what's important, with nature, and at the same time expand our consciousness. So how many lines of codes are there in there, David?
I haven't done a count recently. So I have to do it soon. I'll find it after. I've got a little script that runs. I think quite a lot. I can show you. It's 51 projects now. So it said it's I don't know. I think it's about 300,000. It's probably at least that. It's 51 projects, and it all started I started this I've been designing and doing R&D, and I really got going properly with it last year when I made it open source, and I built HoloNet. This is how it began. This is the first project here, HoloNet, and that was to connect the holochain to .NET and Unity, and basically it's a holochain client, a .NET client, and this is now that was the core part of it, and then it just I went on, and then there's a ramp, and all this came out of that kind of thing. So holochain was at the core of it, and this is why you see this holochain app. That's the first holochain zone, our world zone I created. And that's the Rust code, and that's the old holochain conductor. But of course, holochain was alpha, and they kept moving the goalposts and kept changing. I focused more on .NET, on the stuff that built around it. And now ISM's come out. I've got a feeling now it's stabilizing more. So now I'm going to be going back into updating this. There's the problem. I wrote all this on the old holochain, so now I have to rewrite this. I hope I can reuse a lot of it, but I'm going to have to create a new HoloNet RSM. It's going to be called. And then basically, I'm just going to go very. I'll come back into show you the code more in a minute. I'm just going to show you the structure, the folder structure, so you get an idea of the actual architecture, really high level. So you've got the HoloNet client, which connects to Unity and Windows desktop and .NET, and then you've got HoloNet HDK. That's a holochain developer kit. The Blazor is really powerful. Not sure you heard of that. That's a thing with .NET, and that's basically you can run WebAssembly on the web, a web client. So all your C# code runs in the browser, and it compiles to WebAssembly. So do you know how powerful that is? So that'd be completely WebAssembly front end, WebAssembly back end. Holochain compiles to WebAssembly, and .NET HDK Blazor compiles to WebAssembly. This is another thing that's going to be a world first. It's going to be, I haven't announced this yet, but it's kind of announcing it now. The universe keeps telling me to get on with Blazor. So this is where I'm going to go next as well. It's so much to do. I get overwhelmed because there's so many directions. I can see so much in my mind, and it's just overwhelming what way to go next. But each one is amazing. And Blazor is so basically, so you have WebAssembly, so you know it's much faster, and that's it's compiled, natively compiled code that runs in the web browser. So that's basically just to non-techie people. That's fast. That means a lot faster websites, much more powerful, interactive things, and better do things on the web that you couldn't do before. And it's no plugins, no sandbox required. It can run on any browser, any platform, run on your phone, and it's really lightweight and super fast. So then that's only possible with .NET Blazor, and then Holochain backend is WebAssembly as well. So that's going to be, when I get that working, it's going to be kick-ass. This is a little prototype. I was trying to get Holochain Conductor integrated into Blazor. Then Holochain is running, so WebAssembly is running inside WebAssembly. WebAssembly talking to WebAssembly embedded in the browser in real time. And that will blow Holochain's mind, because that's the problem they've been trying to solve with Holo Network. Mark might appreciate this probably the most. They've been trying to do the Holo Network and a thing called Shrapnel, and basically distributing running Holochain apps in a browser, and then it's allocating the work to different Holo ports connected to Holo Network. Well, if I get this working, that means that you don't even need that part. You can just run the entire Holochain application in the browser fully compiled. So you can compile the HoloChain app and run it in the browser, because the Blazor will compile it all into the browser, or native code. So you don't even need enough middleware. We're only using Cloudflare to allocate all these things, but this bypasses the whole step. This is the future, and that's why I know I can see it. I'm visionary. I can see the technology is now, but I see 5-10 years time, and I know that's going to be freaking game changer. So you know, it might not look like much there, but that's where that's going. That's the bet. So you heard it here first. That's where I'm going with that. And then there's a command line interface into the HDK. This is the star thing I talked about. It started off as the HDK, but it's actually the ODK now. So that's a HoloChain developer kit, but that's actually the OASIS developer kit. And this is quite cool. This is where I got really excited, and this is where I was going mental on Telegram, and it's getting everyone's excited. This is a star. I said it creates bodies, and it has star DNAs, and it creates planets and moons, and it has star DNA, and it has zones and holons, and basically it's a merger of Chris's and HoloChain's work. That's why some merging Chris's holonic new map holoweb had a love child with HoloChain, and then sprinkle some OASIS magic dust on it. That's what this is. This is like the combine of that. So I was inspired by HoloChain and Chris's work. I added my visionary OASIS stuff, and that's the output. So this is going to be massive. And this basically uses Rust. It uses Rust templates and C# templates, and it merges the power of Rust and C# together. So you better both worlds. So Rust, it automatically generates the underlying Rust code for HoloChain, and it automatically generates the C# Rust code that runs on top of it. And that's the core of the OASIS. That's what creates the moons and satellite apps. And it's called Star. And Star is like, it's like the star, because it's going to be a star. It's going to be bright. It's going to be shining so bright, and that's why the first planet star creates is our world. And I think I've created. I'm going to create a new video of that soon. So you've got the celestial bodies, and I won't go too into code. And see, you've got zones and holons and genesis type. Sorry, I can't speak today. That's the type of thing you're creating. God, it's ages to look at this code. I miss it. It's star, planet, moon. And this is the level. So level 1, after level 1, you can only create moons. That's your OASIS applications. But when you level up to level 33, you can create planets. And when you come like God and you level 99, you can create stars. And eventually there'll be more. You can create galaxies and universes. And it's a God training platform. So this is where it's at the minute. So you can create moon, planet, and stars. But in future, you'll be able to create like whole galaxies and universes and things. This is what I saw in my vision when I was going fucking ape. I was having a complete ecstasy downloads in the bath for crystals, and I was like, oh my, on Lionsgate at 8 portal. This is where this all came to me.
I'm curious to know, sorry, Mark, are you there? Because you are very active on the HoloChain ecosystem, and I would love to hear some thoughts from you.
Yeah,
hello, Mark.
Beautiful. Finally, I got here. Sorry for the delay. I'll catch the other recording piece, the first hour, when I get access to the recording. But yes, beautiful, beautiful, David. I was particularly, one word caught my ear as you were going through the some of the HoloChain pieces where you mentioned a HoloChain client. And that seems kind of an odd phrase in a way. Just in the way HoloChain works. So I was just wondering if you could clarify what you meant by HoloChain client, and then I see when you have WebAssembly on both ends, WebAssembly talking to WebAssembly, how I can see how you're getting some of these interfaces and the APIs for these systems. It's a beautiful model. Beautiful model. And now the star DNA stuff, I'm very, very interested in, of course. And I would love to have another dialogue with you about the God training platform.
Yeah, this is like the groundwork of like what I've been seeing my visions for years and years, and it's just exciting to actually start building it. Like, you know, got to start somewhere, and this is actually it's hard to see, because when you guys see it, you guys just see code. But when I see it, I see this, but I see what it creates in my head. I can see what it renders. I can see the OASIS. I can see that this is the code that creates OASIS. It's hard to explain. You know how as a programmer, a technical person will get what I mean. You kind of see the download, the blueprint, holographic blueprint in my mind, and then this is the universe has built this, and then I see where this leads to, like, kind of thing. It's just like step one. So to me, I got really excited. I was like just like crying in tears when I was building this. I was so excited. But I'll answer your question, like, what's it? Oh yeah, the holochain client. So that's what I built up, the HoloNet, and that's basically it's just because the holochain client, like a minute, the existing holochain client is only a web client, and you have to write your holochain code in JavaScript. So you have to use JavaScript code and you write like your web UI in React or Angular or something, you know, JavaScript client library, and then you use the existing holochain web client, which is just some JavaScript code, to then call into your holochain conductor, which is the back end. What I built, I reverse engineered it and looked at how it worked, looked at the JSON packets, I went back and forth and looked at the network stack, and I rewrote it in .NET. So then, like, it's basically JSON RPC, you know, JSON procedure call is at the core of it. And that's basically what HoloNet is at the core. It's just JSON RPC. But that was fun. I wrote that in Burners and Barley. And again, I was on the beach and I was taking A's and A's. I sat there like laying on a sun lounger on the beach with a laptop, like screening at the sun blazing down on me, like manically trying to figure it out, getting really stressed because there's no documentation. And no, again, there wasn't much help.
You have more questions?
I was trying to build like stuff that no one's built before. And I was just like getting really frustrated because I had no help. It's no one could ask anyone.
Mark has a question. Mark has a question.
I'm letting him go because he's kind of answering some of my other questions as
I'm sorry.
Close.
Yeah. So I was just like and then when I finally managed to connect to Holochain through .NET, I was like jumping up and down on the beach, and like people looking at me. I was like, yes. I was like, woo! I shouted out, woo, really loud. You know, when you're programming, like finally, that's the first point. That was the first like world first when I finally got .NET to talk to Holochain, and this is where I made history with the HoloNet part. And then so that answers. So hopefully that makes sense to that part. And another question was the Blazor HDK, and that was basically because the Blazor is like a technology built with .NET, which is really powerful, and the .NET community are very excited by it, and I know why, because it's the future, and that can compile .NET a web application down to WebAssembly, so you can. Because just a background, normally when you write your web application, you got a back-end code, which would be C# in .NET land, and the front end would be JavaScript, normally JavaScript and HTML, CSS, talking to a .NET backend, or it could be like PHP, Python, or whatever you're running. But now with Blazor, it's the first time you can run this C# code can compile into the browser as well. So you have the C# backend code, and you have the C# front end code. So that's the power of Blazor, and that's massive. And then what I was going to do was integrate the HoloNet client you see here inside the Blazor, and then I'm not bitching or anything, but it wasn't for Holochain continuously changing the goalposts. It would have been done by now. Like originally, before I brought NixOSO out, I had the Holochain conductor was integrated inside the HoloNet. And I could fire up the Holochain conductor like on the fly. You didn't need to start it automatically. It automatically did it by itself. And it could automatically start up and shut down the Holochain conductor from .NET. That was really powerful. And then that was first stage one. Then I was going to integrate that into the HDK Blazor here. Like I said, so then you could have then the whole thing could run the whole Holochain application integrated inside a web page, inside a browser. So you see what I mean? Then WebAssembly talking to WebAssembly with the conductor fully integrated inside the browser because it's running WebAssembly. Along as, but anything I've got to check is Blazor will allow you to do that because it's security permissions. I think it will because it's sandbox, so like it'd be a sandbox thing. And the power of Blazor as well, you can run it offline. So if your network connections goes down, just like because it's compiled, because it hasn't talked to the server, because the code is all running natively in the client. You can, do you see what I mean? And so those two tech stacks are made for each other. Blazor and Holochain work so well together, and no one's put them together yet. So that's what I'm going to work on. But one of the many things I want to work on. This is why I need help, because there's so many really exciting, pioneering things I want to do. But it's kind of, I keep trying to prioritize what way to go next. But that really excites me because then basically it can fully integrated, self-contained in the browser, and then as the web internet goes down, you can carry on using the application, talking to Holochain in the conductor because it's running locally in the browser. The code doesn't have to go to the server because it's talking to the conductor in the browser, and when it reconnects to the internet, the holochain conductor can sync across with the other nodes, the gossip protocol. You know how holochain works. It can then sync your data with the other peers in the network. That's going to be freaking massive, and you don't need the holo network, man. You don't need a holo network. You don't need a chaperone. You don't need a third man. You don't need any middle layer. It bypasses the middle layer completely. You don't need a Cloudflare, because that is truly decentralized then. Because right now, holochain isn't fully decentralized, because you need the middleware. You need a Cloudflare, which is that's a point of failure, a central point of failure. If that Cloudflare goes down or is vulnerable to attack, then because that still needs to chaperone the connections, that matches up the browser request to the different holoports running. But with this technology that I want to build, you don't need to do that. It'd be fully self-contained. It'd be the whole holochain application would be contained inside the browser. So that's going to be like when Art and Eric understand what I'm building there, I think they're going to get pretty excited, because that's going to be massive for holochain. That's going to be like.
Awesome. Were there changes in the RSM implementation that were challenging to change, or were they just make it more streamlined because a lot of the debugging stuff got moved?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've started looking at ISM. That's the thing. I had how much time, because basically when ISM came out, when I just stopped coding, I basically started working on. I started doing interviews and updating the website and the blogs and the video and stuff. So that's what I'm about to jump back into now. I started looking at ISM.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of really cool changes.
Yeah,
and now we had another.
I've been following it. Yeah, it's like 10,000 times faster, supposedly. That's quite a leap.
Yeah, RedGrid demonstrated that. It was quite wonderful to see. It just kind of jumped right in at Monash, and it really performed very well. But I would love to hear also about any changes in .NET during the revisions that have come out.
Yeah, and that's the other thing as well. This is why this is very exciting. Like November is a very bloody exciting month. I knew November was all going to get lit up, because .NET 5 come out on the 10th of November. RSM's just come out, and then Ready Player 2 come out. I knew that was an omen for the universe. I knew November was when the shit hits the fan, the shift hits the fan, because it's like, that's not a coincidence. Ready Player 2, .NET 5, and Holochain RSM, and you put those two, Holochain RSM plus .NET 5 equals the OASIS. That's the creation. So you add these two together, and it's like, holy crap. That's why Ready Player 2 come out. It's not, the universe doesn't make coincidences. That's divinely timed. And that's like Lewis says, it's time. I think it's time, and then like this is why November going to December, it's all going to start to really happen now. Because .NET 5 has also got massive improvements too. .NET 5 has got like Blazor improvements, mostly performance improvements, and it's got the Quick protocol. So like our Holochain RSM now uses Quick protocol. It's a new new transport like technology, and .NET 5 has that built in as well. So all the new things that Holochain using, .NET 5 has that built in as well. And gRPC I want to start looking at as well, because the current OASIS API is a REST API, a REST service. And then I want to do a GraphQL one and a gRPC, and that's looking at that. That's like using HTTP 3 protocol, and like really fast. And then you can use that with Quick, and then you use that with Holochain RSM and Blazor.NET. So it's all WebAssembly. You see what I mean? This is the next gen technology, man. When you combine all those tech stacks together, it's like it's instant. It's going to be so fast. I can't wait to see the speed of that.
I would love to also hear you talk about HoloWeb and Chris's work, but also IPFS and what you've been playing with in that area.
Yeah, so like so I said, you're not sure when you joined the call. I was just saying like this work got really excited with the HDK I started building, which now when I started building it's a HDK, but it evolved quickly into the OASIS DK. Originally it was just to build on the HoloNet, and it was just allow people to create holochain applications in .NET, so then you don't have to do the low-level Rust code. So when it generates it, because it's a templating engine. So this is how I am answering your question, so you know this is how I build up to it. So then you have like your C# template code and your Rust template. So this is like CRUD methods, create, update, delete, types, zone. This is the star core zone. So this is holochain, the old holochain code, holochain Redux is known as. And the powerful thing about this is that this engine can support both the whole holochain Redux, and also it can support the new one, the new RSM one, because it's a templating engine. So people can come in and edit the templates and build their own templates. So that this will not only generate the code from here, and then you can have RSM. So if RSM 10 comes out, you don't have to rewrite this. You just create a new templates for that. You go, okay, create a new folder RSM. And that's so it wasn't a complete rewrite for me. So lucky I designed it right. So it's a templating engine, and then that's how it started off, and then it grew and grew into this whole star system, star DNA, and then it can create like planets and moons, and that's inspired by Chris's work from HoloWeb and NewMap, and because Chris he's a talking, walking fractal in Holons. He loves Holons, and that's the base object of OASIS. Every base object is a Holon, and everything inherits from a Holon. And this star DNA is what combines holons and zones. So this takes the paradigm of agent-centric zone-based programming and Chris's HoloMap programming, and sprinkles some OASIS magic dust on it, and that's what this is. This is like the synergy of those three work, and that's why this is my highest excitement. And I think the universe is telling me for ages to go back to this, because this is when I talk about it and work on this is when I get most excited, because this is going to be really big. I think this is where it's combined in two parts. This is the groundwork how HoloWeb is going to integrate with HoloChain as well. This is how HoloWeb talks to HoloChain and talks to OASIS and the avatar karma system, and yeah, and then IPFS, like I haven't started playing with IPFS yet. I've had a quick look at it. That's one of the providers that needs to be built. So I've got I think it's down here. Yeah, it's the stub method. So this is a good time to show you guys actually. This is how you create it. Each provider inherits from a thing called OASIS storage base, and it implements either two interfaces, the OASIS storage interface or OASIS network. So you've got network is like HoloChain talking to, hopefully you can work out what that means. Network is networking, so different things can talk, nodes talking to each other, and storage is storage. So IPFS provider is going to implement both of them. And then you have base methods in there, like delete avatar, get holons near me, get players near me, load all avatars, load the avatar, overloads for loading it, so you can get by ID, username. Provider key is what's relevant to that provider. So in HoloChain, that's a hash, and like in blockchain might be a hash, but in MongoDB or SQLite, which is what I've got implemented already, that'll be an ID. Just so you know, because I think you missed the first part. So far we've got HoloChain, Ethereum, EOSIO, SQLite, and MongoDB. That's what's implemented so far, and very soon it'll be threefold and IPFS. So like if I show you like OASIS, so this is the HoloChain implementation of that. Yeah. Bear in mind, it's like a lot of commented out code, but basically this is an example of calling HoloNet. So this is where it's connecting to it's WebSockets, by the way. It's WebSockets and JSON RPC under low level stuff. So this is where it's HoloNet client. That's the .NET. What's the HoloNet client that connects to HoloChain? This is like calling it, and then it's calling zone functions. There's the AWL zone and the load avatar function, and then passing in the address to hash. That's just a little example. It's nice to see some real code, I guess. This is like actual. It's nice to make things concrete rather than just talk abstract all the time. So this is actual real concrete implementation. So that's like was built again a long time ago. This is like built in Bali last year. It's evolved a little bit since then, but yeah. And this is like the HoloChain avatar, and let's see address hashes and having to do some Rust HoloChain stuff where it doesn't like nulls. You've got to turn it into empties.
This is I have another question. Related to this, yeah. Thank you for that. To see the how that build out, the versus integration. How do you see working with HSTP or HSML in how that's designing more for these virtual platforms? And how do you see that integration of how they're trying to streamline and or load the client with all kinds of extra information, which is what I see actually happening with holochain anyway. I see the same issue with doing these virtual worlds over, yes, faster networks, but it's still a lot more data to be transmitting. How do you see the integration with Versus?
Yeah, well, Versus kind of like is the next part, because I'm going to do holochain RSM, then Threefold, and then Versus. So I haven't really done any deep dive in Versus, but I think that's about to happen, because I think I said before you joined as well, I've just reached out to Dan. So if you guys can help me with that, actually, I've just sent Dan an email a few days ago.
We can.
So maybe if you guys could chase up Dan, because this is quite really important that we do start talking about that, because then I can answer your question more on that. Because that's exactly why I think I kept getting signs, Unicode saying Dan will help, contact Dan. I kept getting Versus for ages. First it was holochain Cs, and now I've got them ticked. Now it's saying Versus, and Threefold. So they're the next two things on my radar. But what I saw in the presentation, because I've only saw the Versus website and read a bit of the spatial web, and I got really excited. So that is going to be, it's divine timing. So I think next year when I bring the SDK out in I think January, I think you said next year, that's when exactly the right time we'll start building out the Our World smartphone prototype. You know, the smartphone prototype right now is a 3D map of the world, and just like them, and it's gamifying the whole world. And that's why it's design timing. So I built a low-level architecture to connect holochain and the providers, and I built a few, so it's all ready for the developers to jump in. And that's what I want help. The holochain developer, the .NET developers, I want to build out the providers to connect them all, and I want Unity developers to help build out the front end. Because the architecture I've done, so the architecture I've already built. I built the magic clue. I built the tree. The tree's built. I need help building the branches, basically. And Versus is like one of the branches. But I think Versus, some things like Versus and Threefold or holochain are actually part of the trunk. They're like core infrastructure components. And I see like Versus being enabling me to do all the next magic part. Basically, that's why I love, like Lumi said early on, I don't know how to build a Versus myself. That's why I loved when I holochain and I saw Threefold, and especially Dan and Versus. I was like, oh my God, this is going to speed up development of the Versus so much, because I don't have to build the whole thing from the ground up. It's just plug and play. It's like Lego. It's just plugging Lego together. And that's what this is. I built the super glue. Yeah, so I built this glue. The glue's here. The super glue, the Oasis is built already. The tree trunk's here. This is what I'm showing you. This is the architecture that allows all of them to talk to each other. This is the code that enables everything to talk to each other, based around the core avatar karma system. And now it's ready for people to plug and play. Literally, just plug in the new Lego bricks, plug in more providers, fill out these providers down here. So I've got Tron, Threefold, Telos, Seeds, SQLite, Scuttlebuds, Plan, MongoDB. You see HoloWeb. Holochain, I see Holochain's done, Hashgraph's coming, Ethereum's done, OSIO's done, Chainlink's half done, Blockstack's half done, ActivityPub, and there's tons more you've probably seen on the website. This is just what I see as a priority order. This is what I'm feeling, what needs to be built out next. And then Versus is going to be more special. Versus is like it's kind of maps over all this kind of thing, like you said, it's a whole protocol. That's why I think Dan is actually, holochain and Seeds has been really important, but I think Dan is one of the most important next connections other than Threefold, like because his thing isn't just a provider, it's like the whole trunk. Because he's like similar journey to me. When I watched, by the way, I finally finished watching the playback for it, and oh my God, that's what I'm gonna do. I shared a video, not video, the email I sent him. I'll share the email I'll do a blog post with the email I sent him, and you'll see the parallels when he's talking about. Little man has to build the protocols. Little man has to build the API, because Google, Microsoft, can't build it because no one else will use it. And that's exactly why we're building it. Me and Dan have been on such a similar path, because the OASIS API is just such a similar journey to what he's been building, the protocol. And what he's talking about, how it's really slow, and eventually it gathers speed. Eventually you go around the corner and it takes off. And me and him are both at the point where it's about to take off. Like this, I've been building this on my own, slowly. And now we're about to plug it. When we integrate his work and this work with the holochain integration we've already got, and Ethereum, EOSIO, and Threefold will be very soon. By the way, I have just so you know, I've done a lot of research into Threefold and Seeds. So Seeds and Threefold, I have got doing bits of code like prototyping. So I started playing around with SDKs already. So they're kind of half done to see, so it's not completely fresh. And Versus, I'm waiting to get the SDK. I can't wait to get hold of the SDK. That's what I've asked him in the email. I want to try and get an early release. So if you guys can, maybe if you can get like a closed beta, you must have like an early preview. I'd love to get hold of that SDK sooner rather than later, because then I guys really forget what.
Well, I
James,
wish we would have crossed paths. I wish, David, you and I would have crossed paths back in the, let me see, in the mid 90s, and leading up to, because I worked on what was called interactive television architectures. And when we did the prototypes with a cable network and then a DSL network, but we had to do the satellite networks, which is really challenging to do interactive television work via satellite. But you've captured a lot of the architecture that was actually needed back then. And this is what I was saying, is that, yes, you have to do a lot of pre-caching and a lot of local client stuff, and have both server and client locally. And that ended up being like holochains architecture and what you've done here in combining a lot more client loading, so that you can really perform all of these amazing interfaces as well as the graphics. So well done. And like I said, I wish we'd have crossed. I think we connected outside of time.
Yeah, quantumly.
Yep.
Quantum, yeah, we're outside of the time. So.
That's right. So very well done.
Thank you. It's just nice to actually show some code. I kind of think so it makes it more solid, because I've been talking about it for a while, but this is actually grounds it a bit more. Yeah. And this is so inspired. Like, I'm inspired a lot by Holochain and Chris's work, and this is why you've got things like DNA and zones and hodons in here. And then I've added what I was really seeing and combining the HoloNet. So this is what the beginning, because it's exactly what it is. A star is the nuclear reaction, and a star is where the fusion of all these technologies happens. The star is what brings it all together, and that's why if people could see where this is going to go, because I don't know if can I actually I might just show one quick thing. Bear in mind, I'm not sure this is all compiled, because I haven't actually ran this for ages. I can actually start up the star. I can fire the star up. But this is where I got to. I was halfway through development, and I dropped it when I met Mark, the other Mark. It's all the Marks. My best friend in university was called Mark, by the way, Mark Ashworth. And then Mark Kane is bringing the money, and then Mark Wagon, and you're going to be bringing the text side of it and the networking, and it's like it always just seems to be Marks and Lumi's now. But I got a thing with Marks. I don't know what it is. It's like yeah. So this is what this is the .NET HTTK CLI. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm remembering now. So you talk about Lumi. You light it up. So the command to build is called light. So you star light. So star light is what builds the OASIS application. And I think actually, remember right? Hang on. It's like a flashback for me now. Yeah. So this is something that's important to show actually. Thank you. I completely forgot about this. This is quite exciting. So you got star, beam in, beam out. That's how you log in. That's how you log in with your avatar. Beam in, beam out, and you star light, and you pass in the DNA folder of the thing you want to build. The folder to the C# templates, which is the Genesis folder, the Rust Genesis folder that creates the planet, OAP, or the moon at the given folder, the Genesis location, and from the given OAP DNA. And then you've got Starlight Transmute, that basically converts legacy applications, like H apps and D apps, into an OASIS application. You transmute the DNA into star DNA. And then, I was really on one when I was doing this. It's really challenging. And Star Flare it actually builds it, compiles it. Star Shine launches and activates when you can shine your application into the world. Shine the star's light upon it, and that brings it to life. Star Dim deactivates it. Star Seed deploys the planet OAP. Star Twinkle deactivates the planet OAP application. Star Dust deletes it. Star Radiate. Star Radiate highlights the planet OAP applications in the StarNet. A StarNet is the OAP store. The OASIS application store is called StarNet. As admin only, that function. Star emits, what's that? I show my, oh yeah, each application, you can show how much light it's emitting. So each application, so which each moon and star, I never shared this, one of my downloads. So you can see in the digital twin of the solar system I created, each planet and star which plugs into the OASIS application, the more light they create for the planet, the more light it brings the world. So the more, I don't know, the more avatars are leveling up in that application, say planting trees in the rainforest or doing self-help app, the brighter that star, brighter that moon or planet will shine. And the brighter planet, and the bigger it grows as well, it actually grows bigger. The moon and worlds grow bigger as the more users that log into it, so gravity. And then the bigger they get, they move closer and closer to the sun. So that the gravitational pull, so they actually as they come brighter and brighter, they move towards the sun. That's how I see the race. That's the beginning of the races. That's like the digital twin. That's the UI to this. So when I was building this, I've seen the UI. That's why I was building these commands. And this is like the command line interface. And then star reflect, gives you stats of the planets. Star evolve, upgrade, update to the latest version. Star mutate, import and export them. That's what I said earlier on. You can import holochain applications or dApps or legacy applications. Star love, you send and receive love. Like it's just like, that's not like, you know, when you like things, that's when people can like an app. So you can light a planet or light a moon, and then that's like an app. Starburst is view network stats, management settings, and Star Super reserve future use. Yeah, I had some ideas of that.
This aligns with
it's crazy, isn't
it? some of the nesting holons that that Hilo is playing with right now, including the nodes that are usually individuals or pods that are small groups, or communities that are groups of pods or nodes, and then the networks, and then the movements. And building this out, there's so much good stuff here on what you're working on. It's like you're setting the target for what they're working on, where they're going, and then also because they're owned by Holochain and they have Holochain integration coming, they're also working with Harlan Wood now, also on Trust Graph. And when you start getting that trust graph in there, that can be like a gravitational field, which is really, really useful.
So that's why we're all downloading the same thing.
What's that?
Wow. So you carry on. I was just saying, I said we're all downloading the same thing. Like we're all like seeing mounting from different sides of it, and like because I see a long way into the future, like you're saying, like I see this stuff, and I see people building towards it. But this is kind of like where it's going, like the end game, and then we meet in the middle, kind of thing. So it's like it's beautiful how we're going to like join up. So carry on talking. Don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This and gravity works kind of like love does. Love is a magnetic field, right? Yeah. And it draws unity, right? Like gravity does, and like Trust Graph does. And that helps so much with even on the social aspects, the economic aspects, the governance aspects, all are beautifully interwoven with that. That's why I've always thought that Harlan's contribution to Core Network was so beautiful. Actually, he gave a talk at the Economic Space Agency on a platform called Gravity. And you should talk to Harlan someday. He's now working. He's now working with. It looks like he's working with Hilo, at least on kind of an associated basis.
That's why, like, it's funny. Like, I reached out to Dan a few days ago, but also reached out to the Core Network. And Mark's now connecting to Adam Apollo. And I'm trying to. I want to call with him. And
he'd be great to help out on the UI UX pieces.
Yeah, because that's what they're building. Because I saw bits of the planets and stuff, and that overlaps with Chris's HoloWeb things. Because I didn't realize all this time. Because when you look at HoloWeb and NewMap, I'm not sure you saw Chris's work, and it's all about solar systems and orbits. And then you look at Core Network, and it's all orbiting. And then I was in the bath, And I saw my part of it. I thought, oh my God, I saw the digital twin on the solar system. And I tapped in to the other part of what they're building. I knew when I saw the solar system in my head, I saw the solar system, but I saw the code. I saw this code. And I thought, oh my God, this is my bit. This is how I plug into that. And I know we're all building the same bits. So we're building different parts of it. And that's why I saw how the universe, you get glimpses of the universe's plan. You're like, oh my, and I'm just like in ecstatic like bliss. I'm just like, oh, I was just wetting myself. And I don't know, you follow me on Telegram. This is in August to September, and I was blowing up Telegram, and I was just wetting myself. And people don't understand my manic outburst. I was proper James Halliday manic, like, oh my God, I was just like, because I've seen these planets and moons and the solar system, and I saw the code. Because I not only see the visual part, but I see the, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like an Iron Man thing. You see the planets, but then like in my mind, I can see the holographic, like the code that makes the planet in my mind. I can see the code that generates it, and that's what I started building here.
Yeah, it's
sense.
like the architect in the Matrix, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like that, but unfortunately, when in my mind it was so quick and easy. When I actually on the keyboard coding, it's like it takes a lot longer to manifest it than I would like, because I'm in 5D all the time, and in my mind it's so fast to create. But like when I actually got to translate it to 3D technology and C#.net, it's like, oh,
you gotta really be in the
slow.
Well, you have to be in the flow state, and even then, then you don't have sleep.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And I end up working late because when it's hard to stop coding when you're in the flow, it was so hard to stop coding because it was just like, oh, hang on a minute, I've got to plug my charger in. Yeah, it's so hard to stop because when you're on a manic rush, when you're in the zone, it's so hard to like come out of it. Yeah, so shall I just like quickly just get the rest of the overview of it, because it's like I don't want to like go on too long, and then I could take some more questions at the end if people have or something.
Let's do it.
Just like I don't want to make it too long, so I just so that's basically the star stuff, and then I can do more deep dive in this later on. And also this code is all available. It's an open source, so it's on the GitHub repo, so people can dig into this code and get excited and give feedback, and even more, be more amazing that can help code it as well. That'd be awesome too. Yeah, so this DNA was just like, I think I already talked about it, the folders. It's a template engine. So basically it mashes up Rust code with C# code and then spits out planets and moons. But the star is the generator. The star is like the engine. That's like the OASIS engine. The core of the OASIS is star. Obviously the star is going to be the core. And I realized that recently. So they can see the holochain conductor port, the client type desktop, that can be Unity or desktop, and then star provider key, and that's the different template files which can be customized, which are all in here. So you've got C# and Rust code. And then I think the only thing I wanted to show was oh yeah, so you got oh right, yeah, and then this is the moon DNA template, and I think yeah, and there's zone templates and things, and because this can load and hold on, and it's a template, and so it swaps things out. But I won't go too far into this. So basically, hopefully you understand what it's doing, kind of thing. You might have to go into. I might deep dive more into this bit later on, maybe in the next call or something, because I could talk for a long time just about the star bit. It's quite a lot to take the OASIS in all in one go. But then the rest of it, just briefly, is and then this is where I'm going to do entity framework. Like .NET has something called entity framework, and that's like an object relationship management system. You probably heard of it, and that's a bit like what inspired me to start the holochain HDK. So it's basically wraps the required methods, create, update, delete. Very simple, so you can load an object and you update the properties and you save it. You don't have to worry about all the update statements and delete statements and all the low-level code. So when you're working on a holochain on this HDK, which is now the ODK, you just load. You can just load the object that you saw there in a star, what it looks like, and just create the. You just create the object and you just update your properties and you press call.save on it. But in holochain, it's a lot more complicated. The low level Rust code that it generates. But in the back end, it does all that, hides it away for you. So that's this bit here is linking that into the entity framework. Basically, exposes it even more. Because my HoloNet stuff exposes things into .NET community massively, but with entity framework, that's really used in a lot of businesses. So this is massive for enterprise as well. So when I finish that bridge, that's like a bridge in there, which I started doing. That's going to be huge. One last thing. Oh yeah, it's down here. Excited now. That's what I was just talking about early on. So here, that's what I say that you can beam in, so you can see avatar, I start at beam in, logging in with my username and password, and then you get back your avatar objects, and then successfully beamed in, and I got my karma, my level. This is like a real world bit, and then this is about generating the planet, our world, starlight, Genesis planet, Genesis type is planet or moon, our world, the DNA folder for our world, the Rust code folder, the C# folder, and then the namespace of where it is, and then like then if it successfully generates to our world, then it returns that it's a celestial body, and then on that world you're on holons loaded, on holons saved, on error. So our world loads all the zones and holons inside the our world, and then you can create a new holon, call it test data description, and then just call the holon type dot park. So holon is like tongues, as you see, like it's all like avatar, bus station, cafe, moon, park, planet, player, quest, restaurant, star, train station, and zone. But it'd be tongues more, because I said holon is like the base object. So this is creating a park, and then and you just save, and you just do save holon. That's it. If you look at the holochain Rust code, it's way more to do that. Like, and then this might handles the linking and everything else behind there. Oh yeah, and when you call Flare to create your to actually build it, it returns a coronal injection. The Flare outputs a coronal injection. I've got quite creative with my names. And then this is like activating and launching, and this is what I explained early on. This is actually calling those different methods and Twinkle running your tests. And then this is like just callback methods. And this is like when a holon's saved, and then you've got the different provider keys and the name description. And this is sort of wrapping around the HoloNet you saw earlier on. So behind the scenes, this is using HoloNet, in the back end. So it's different layers. You mean architecture? It's different layers. So this is the highest layer now. The next layer of this is the UI. This is like so you've got the HoloNet, which is the base layer, which is talking to holochain conductor. Then you've got the OASIS, which is then connects HoloNet into the OASIS API, and then you've got Star, and then this builds actually building the planets and moons, the actual applications that plug into the OASIS. And then on top of this is Core Network and HoloWeb and the UI and Versus, the actual user interface stuff. That makes sense. So that's the bit I just wanted to show you really. And then and this I've just glanced over because we're coming to the end now and everything's tired. So this is like a bridge between Node, Node.js. This is like this. I built this in Bali, so I can talk to HoloWeb. So because Chris's stuff's built in Node.js, so this is now.NET to talk to Node.js. So I built that. OASIS API core is where the avatar is. Avatar type, wizard or user. The wizard is an admin user. Different buildings, coronal injection, events, all sorts of things. And karma type. Look, let's just give you an idea. You get our world picking up litter, helping people, defending players, defending the base, being selfless, be a hero, be a Superman, be a superhero, be a team player, being present,
I'd love to see the gene keys in this section.
Yeah, this is what it's open, because this is all like an example implementation. Like I just built the architecture, but you can see when people plug it in, all the bits and that, because this is like the branches coming into here. This is just an example of all the types of, karma can be for so many types, speaking your truth. And that's just in our world.
Check in on this section with the Civil X guys, because I think a lot of these karma pieces can be directly related to shadow or city, right? And can be moving in that direction all the time, where we put some type of higher interface or higher frequency interface in front of somebody on a quest. If they're in their shadow and all of a sudden they're in a quest that involves beings operating in their cities, and in particular, a harmonic of that shadow, right? So it's linked to that. So what ends up happening is that shadow gives way to a gift in that direction, which emerges into the city. So I think that the karma system can be directly tied to how the gene keys represent consciousness in any scenario.
I just reached out to, again, because that's why I haven't been coded for a month. I've been in networking. I've just, you know, I said I contacted Dan. I contacted Threefold again, and I contacted Core Network, Adam, and I contacted Genes Key, and I contacted Human Design, and I'm asking for API integration. So it's exactly what he's bang on point, because this is exactly, and CFX, I'm trying to get a call with Jordan, but obviously everything's really busy, but universe has been telling me for ages, so I put it out there now, so I put it out to the field, so now I was divine timing to get back to me. Like, you know, my inner work I've done now, I've let go of it all, so I'm actually much happier, more peaceful place. I'm not trying to force things, I'm not trying to pressure things. I surrender to divine timing, and now I'm in a happy place again now. So let's let it all flow. And I feel this is an ignition point, like November, December, especially solstice, it's just gonna freaking go. I think we're all gonna come together now, and it's just gonna
Rainbow Bridge.
Rainbow Bridge, it's launch time.
December 21st.
Yeah. I'll just quickly wrap this up now. So you've got maps, missions. You know what you saw earlier on the front end, the OASIS API. Mark, and you can watch in the replay that part I did. This is the back end bit, when you can do maps on the map, missions, different providers, players, provider type. So this is the types I've got so far. So you've got no those supported. Well, we're going to be supported. I told you one's already built: Holochain, Ethereum, EOSIO, Telos, Seeds, and Mongo and SQLite. But these are all. This gives you an idea. You got Oracle, you got Mongo, you got Scuttlebutt, ActivityPub, IPFS, Solid, Hashgraph, and every other single bloody blockchain and network and storage thing you can imagine will be. This is going to be a very big list. One day this is going to grow. This is going to be like millions of lines just in here, because this is going to be the whole internet. This is going to be a provider for every single freaking thing that exists on the planet. So that's going to be quite a lot. But it has to be done. This is how we're going to connect everything together. One other thing, in the core is interfaces. So you can see, you saw like the avatar earlier. Just an avatar stuff, the karma and karma earned, karma lost. The karma akashic records. That's a record of all the karma you earned and lost. So that's why everything you've done, every good deed and bad deed is stored in your karma akashic record. That's another little cool thing I did partly. That's why I love Holochain and Chris's stuff, because we all like just inspired by the universe. And then we got so every base object's holon. So this is where I said this is the holon objects. This is what I was talking about. Everything's got ID, name, description, provide the key, celestial body linked to a zone. It might be linked to another holon, because you can have like fractal, so you have many holons coming off this, or list of holons, and then who created it, what avatar created it, who modified it, standard like stuff. But rather than user, I used to have user ID and profile ID, but now you won't find user profile anywhere in my code base. Everything's an avatar. Everything's avatar. I've managed to everything's all updated to the new universal language. This is the OASIS net provider. So the moment it's just get holons near me, get plays near me. So that's speaking of Holochain when I wrote that. And that's like activating different providers, drawing sprites and storage. A minute storage has got load, save avatar with different overloads, and then delete. There's just standard stuff, and then add subtract karma, and then search, and then the storage errors, and then you've got planets that inherit from a celestial body. You've got the star and the moon in here, because even the star is a celestial body as well, and celestial body inherits from a holon. So everything is a holon, and then you've got managers that are like, obviously manage all the code for this. Won't go into this. This is save load. I think you get an idea now. So quite a lot's been built. So then the park manager is like comes off the quest manager. That's got to be built.
You mentioned search. Did you have you worked on anything that resembles the the synergy engine?
Yeah, that was going to be in. I saw that as well in one of my visions. But that piece is kind of like a more tan and breadth pieces. That's the part that they're going to plug in. Like, yeah, since the search was basically, I mean, it searches so you can search across like the whole system. You can search for different types and things. But also, yeah, we can plug a synergy engine where you can match up in people's different needs and types.
That can also be influenced by human design and gene keys.
Yeah.
And
yes, yeah.
Yep. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
And I have maybe some partners that I want to introduce or make sure that that Brett and Tan are also working with a lot of groups that are part of the Buckminster Fuller Institute, because he wrote a couple of books on synergetics, and they are very interested in a concept of synergy engine. Again, they already went down that path for a little bit, and now they're coming back to it because technology is catching up to how it might actually.
Yeah, so it cut out towards the end there, but I think I've got most of it. You still there? Yeah.
Mark, you're on mute. Mark, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
Oh wait, okay, okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought it cut out. Sorry, so you finished, yeah. So like, that's why it's all time to bring pieces together now, and like, so it's all like we're all seeing different parts of the same thing now, and it's just beautiful to see all the synergies. And it's just, I'm really glad I find. I don't know why it's taking me so long, because I don't think this was ready yet. You know, I'm a perfectionist and I wanted to have more to show, but I realize now, like, it's time to show the tree trunk, because this will help people start plugging into it, because then it's going to really speed up. This is what about, you heard of Apollo? Apollo is like what a big thing in holochain circles. And Apollo is like a GraphQL like implementation. And Apollo has a really cool thing, and it wraps around like your RESTful service. So the current OASIS API RESTful service are going to wrap around with Apollo, and then that automatically makes it a GraphQL, and that plays really nicely with the current like holochain community and ecosystem, because that's a really big. Because GraphQL and holochain goes really well as well. So that's my work I did here. And a minute there was no integration with .NET, so I started building my own .NET holochain, .NET Apollo. Again, having to do well first, because no one built it yet. So I thought, frick it, I build it myself then. This is why it's taking so long, because I'm trying to build out like so many different things that I haven't built. Like, you know, you think like Art and Erica like broke up at September building a holochain. Well, I started off going one route, and then I come to another piece and it wasn't built yet, so I had to start building it myself. But that's why I think had been slowed down, because now other people are building the pieces, so I don't have to build every single part. So that's the way. This is the Apollo stuff. I've had Apollo server and client, and integrating with that. And this is Arc, which was the old name for HoloWeb. This is what Chris is doing, Chris Larkin. When I was in Bali and we were synergizing, it showed me Arc. And that's now been renamed to HoloWeb. It's evolved into HoloWeb, and that's what we call the membrane. That allows Arc to talk to .NET. And this is just what I said. This is uses the Node.js stuff. So Node.js talking to this, and this is what we're talking about here. This is a course he wanted about QR codes and blueprints, Bluetooth devices, and Jordan circles and things, because it's got a thing called a cyber API, and that's what he uses to render his UIs. And we're going to port it to Unity. So this is the start. You know, started building this as well in Bali, and that's so everything's like the groundwork. I basically built the groundwork for a lot of stuff, and all needs building out. This is why you see why I need help. You see how many bits are like need padding out. But I'm the architect, so I've laid the groundwork. This is like the scaffolding. And I built out the avatar and the karma parts, and the provider, that's the bits, the rest is scaffolding and the start system I started building. The rest is ready for everyone else to come play and help build it. So yeah, I think it's about time. Now, hopefully this video will help that, because you've seen it's quite a lot here, but it needs a lot more love and TLC. This is the front end I started building as well for the OASIS API. And that's a Unity front end, a web front end. But the Unity front end is basically the Our World smartphone prototype. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention that. I announced it here. I quietly released the open source code for the Our World smartphone prototype about a month ago. Like, the Unity developer working part-time with me, he helped me get it onto GitHub, because problem with Unity is gigs and gigs. It's massive, and GitHub kept kept rejecting my code because it's too big. It was like over 3-4 gig in size because maps, you know, obviously that's a lot of all media files. It takes up a lot of space. So the back-end code's small. You know, it's a lot of code, but the payload size of it is smaller because when you use the interface like Unity, a game, that's massive. It's like 3 gig in size. And this is still quite big, but GitHub likes back-end code more than front-end code. So it took me like 2 years just to get the freaking code into GitHub for the Unity front end. I'll show you that another time. The code's there. Maybe I'll just show you. It does exist. So people want something solid. So I'm showing people it's not just a dream. It's not a vision. It's not an idea. There's real code, and I'm proving it now. After this, I will show you there's code for the front end too. It is there.
Finally.
It just needs people to help. I was just embarrassed because I'm a perfectionist, and I wanted to be like. I really want to be like Ready Player One, OASIS, like James Halliday. I want to be like, da-da, he's the racist. Like out of nowhere, I wanted to build all this on my own. Well, not on my own, but I just wanted some help. But I wanted to build it when I realized that I can't build it on my own. Like I had to go open source, but I went open source, and then no one came and helped. I was like, oh, okay. And it was divine timing, so I hadn't done this video yet. I had to build more out of it. But this is the next bit as well, and they've got ode nodes. Like I said earlier on, ode nodes run different nodes. They're split like the Holoport nodes, and I'm working on this. But what you see here, Nix OS. I've got a fork of the this is a fork of the Holoport code, and I've started plugging in my code into here. So basically, I've been upgraded. I want Holochain to do it. So again, I had to do it myself because they weren't talking to me. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll just fork your code and I started them. This is why I think I'm so slow, because I keep changing direction every fucking 2 minutes. I get excited with doing things and then I don't finish it. So this is why I started upgrading the Holoport code to be able to run the OASIS on Holoports on a Holochain. Because originally the Holoports are going to be running on the Holochain code. So the OASIS API you saw earlier, you saw it's on OASIS platform.world. That's hosted on just a Windows server right now. But this will enable it to host it on all the Holoports around the world. So then be truly decentralized, distributed. So this is the Holoport code started blending with the OASIS API code. And then an OPortal, I'm still thinking about that. OPortal is like the organizer. OPortal is it's a collection of O nodes. So the O nodes is controlled by the OPortal. The OPortal is the OASIS portal, the central portal. That's what the OASIS platform is going to go into eventually. A minute it's the API, but eventually it's just going to be the controller that then delegates traffic, load balances, the O nodes, OPortal basically, but no balances, the O nodes. It makes sense. Again, this is why I need people like Holochain and Art and Eric and people who are like network distributed and gods like Nico. And this is why I need help with it, because some of these areas aren't my areas. I can do it, but I actually specialize what I do best. And so I started doing this part, but I need some help with the networking stuff. And then this is O node. Again, this is the web UI Blazor front end. Talk about this is so when you're running these O nodes on your Holoport, this is like the web UI. Again, full WebAssembly. So that's WebAssembly front end, WebAssembly back end running on the Holoport. That's going to be fast as effing fast. And then you got a Blazor front end, HTML front end, Eraser. This is just me prototyping. A lot of this is prototype when I was just experimenting with different things, but Blazor is definitely the way to go. And then this is the different providers that I said earlier on, been building out. And again, to prove to you, look, this is the OASIS, this is the real code. This has got smart contracts in here. This has got the OASIS smart contract written, I think it's C++. This is why I'm really grateful to the developers that helped me. So 2 developers helped me. One developer helped with the OASIS, and the other developer helped with the Ethereum. So this is the EOS.io. That, by the way, that's what Seeds runs on. This is why I built this first. Well, the guy helped me build it. So Telos runs on EOS.io and Seeds runs on Telos. So this is how OASIS API is ready to talk to Seeds. And I've already done some test stuff, and I can really talk to Seeds stuff. But that's why I joined them to help build out the API. So yeah, I won't go too far into that. And then Ethereum, again, exists. Look, smart contracts, Ethereum OS. So this is, so this is the accounts when you basically, the task, when you look on the GitHub repo, they've got a thing called Crest in the issues. And I had an Ethereum Crest and I had an EOS.io Crest. And part of this Crest is the first thing is just load and save the avatar object. Once you've got load and save the avatar object, I can then reverse engineer it and then in the code for the rest of it, for the hodons and everything else. So you see all the examples, it's loading and saving the avatar object, which is why the current OASIS API, as I said, supports Holochain, Ethereum, EOSIO, MongoDB and SQLite, and Holo Oasis I've already showed early on. I've already talked through all these other ones, and then Mongo, yeah, Mongo obviously exists as well, and this is the Mongo code, the avatar repository. Again, basic CRUD methods for loading and saving, and yeah, and then searching. Oh, your search is working as well. The search, the only search implemented right now is in MongoDB. So Mongo allows you to search across the Oasis as well. So that's all the code for Mongo, and that's it. So that's basically it. That was really rushed though. I could talk a lot. I could talk for hours about this code. There's not more I skimmed over, but I didn't want to. It's a lot to go in on the first go. But the only thing I'll just show, I won't actually go into the code, but just to prove, if I go on to wait, screen sharing, I've got to change screen. Can you see this on? Oh yeah, you can't see it. So I'll just change it to one. But it's right at the end now, guys. Just 1 minute, and then we're finished. Sorry, I know it's a lot, and then you can play back after. So if you go on to Next Gen Software UK, you got. Can you see that? Yeah. So that's the OASIS API, this top one. So it started bloody hell. It's been 2 years since I first checked it in. So the actual code. Last time I did code was over a month ago. But that was me updating the README. So that's what you just saw. So you guys, that's the documentation if you want to go and find out more and look at it. We can provide the links as well. All the links are on the our world website, and this is quite interesting. You look at what's in there. C# 50, only 52%. I thought it'd be most of it. You got CSS, Rust, obviously Nix, JavaScript, HTML, and just a shout out. This is Jason. Jason, thank you, my friend. I think Jason built the EOSIO provider, and Harry. He built Alexander, but he's like Harry Potter. He likes Harry Potter. He built Ethereum. He built Ethereum. So that's why I knew he's meant to work for us, because he's like a big Harry Potter fan. So he's magical. And obviously that's me with my heart for the world. But what I was going to show you, that's been there for 2 years. But right below that is here the our smartphone prototype, and that's the Unity code. And that's the BEB, which is private. That's the construction workflow management system. It's a shame because I'm working on Colin to open up. It doesn't open up yet, so I can't really show you this. But half this year, I had loads of work, and it's an amazing use case of the OASIS API. It's built on top of the OASIS API, and it's going to revolutionize the construction business. And it's got a smart contract management system in there, and that's why I'm going to make it generic and break that part out and make it generic in here. That's what I said early on. It's called the SCMS. So that's half my year was building the BEB. And then you see, then it's been a lot of the background Oasis, and then this is why the Unity developers. This is the Unity front end. Look, it's very lonely and sad. It needs, and this is like C++, and this has got iOS version and Android version, and a lot of C++, shader labs, HTML, Objective-C, and Unity and C#. So it's quite a nice blend of stuff, and you can check this out. I haven't announced this yet because I don't know. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to show it to people and tell, look, see, was saying this, that believe in myself. I'm just a perfectionist, and I wasn't ready to show the world. But I think it's time to show the world, because how else am I going to get help, right? So I just got to bite the bullet, and it's not as ta-da as I want it to be. I want it to be a fully working prototype with the Unity front end before I show the world. But things take longer than you wish. But I think it's good enough. I think that's what Universe is trying to tell me. Like, it's good enough, right? It's time to go public, I think.
Awesome. So, I'm so happy that finally this is recorded, released, shared, expressed, taken out of your inner self into the outer world. It was time.
Yeah.
We'll share this to reach out to all the people that need to be reached out.
And this is Google AR Core. It's got in there AR stuff, and so I had no energy, but when I talk about my passion, everyone else gets knackered. Like Lumi's like falling asleep, and I'm like full of energy now. Like and this, the Oasis Avatar Manager and our world manager. This is the code. The demo you saw in February of the map. This is the code behind it, just so you know. So yeah, I'll show you this next time. Maybe do a follow-up call and I'll show you the Unity code.
I think we could have every week, David. We could have every week, every Wednesday. You know, like an update, or well, I don't know if every Wednesday, but you know, at least set the intention of meeting regularly, as we just did today, to really dig deeper into people that want to know more and developers. You know, it's easier to set their mind about Wednesdays. You know, OASIS API discussion, integration, and making this regular, because I think this is just about to explode in questions and requests and, you know, discussions. And so maybe we could set Wednesdays for that.
Yeah, it'd be good to get momentum going, and hope it'd be great to get some people sort of jumping in, because I was going to ask you guys, I want to try and do like a hackathon as well. It'd be great. That's another idea I had. Like, can do like a OAP hackathon. You know, Holochain have hackathons to build Holochain apps. Why not have hackathons to build OASIS applications? And about the first hackathons would be actually help me build the rest of the core, and hackathons to build the providers, hackathons to build up the providers, hackathons to help build up the core stuff, and hackathons to help build up the Unity front end. So I've 8 years I've been working on this. So like I've come this far. So now I think it's time for everyone else to step up, everyone out there, and help me build the OASIS. And I feel God, I couldn't pronounce his name, but you know the main guy in Ready Player One, the Wade Watts. I can't pronounce his avatar name. Pretzel, but Wade Watts. Percival, yeah, I can't pronounce it. Sorry, my dyspraxia. Yeah, Percival. Yeah, it's like him when he's doing that speech with the big force field. It's like, help me save the OASIS. That's what I'm doing now. That's what I'm going to do video soon with my Anuak costume on. I'm going to do Anuak's imitation, and it's going to be about me, like, say, come help build the OASIS, help save the OASIS. So it's like my invitation is come and join the party now. Yeah, so that's me done. So any more questions I can answer, or anything? If everyone's still asleep or awake, I don't know.
I was enjoying your energy and your passion while you were sharing all of this. It was beautiful. It's really great to see you so happy. And so smiling.
I was so tired and ill for a start. I was tired and ill for a started. I was like, oh, and then the more I talk about it, the more energized I get, because it's my passion.
Look at Debbie, how happy he is as well. So smiley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss my baby. I want to start coding again. Is everyone still here? Because I can't even see anymore. All I can see is my screen. All I can see is noughts and ones and code.
Yeah. Debbie, what are your thoughts?
Ah, there you are. Hello, everyone. So I haven't seen anyone for ages. I just saw the code. I was just in my own world. So thank you for sticking with me. Some people dropped off. I thought it'd be like tumbleweed. I finished talking and it's just Lumi there. Well, maybe Mark left. It's like, oh, Evan left.
Are you kidding? You had our rapt, undivided attention. We were like glued to the screen. We're like, oh my God, this is the history in the making. The day Ready Player 2 comes out.
It'd be funny if I stopped. I thought I stopped talking, and then it'd just be me on the call, and even Mark and Lumia left, and I'd be like, "Oh, how long was I just talking to myself for?" So, oh well, I can still use this. It's all right.
A couple of hours.
I'm used to talking to myself. It's fine.
Well, thank you. We really enjoyed this. Is amazing, incredible. It's what I've been looking to see. I dreamed it existed and could never be sure, and here you are, you know, revealing this to us for the first time.
Yeah,
David.
it's real.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry it took us so long. It's just I just like, it's my baby, and you know how, you know, Mark might understand, techie, when it's your baby, right, you don't want to show it. I'm a perfectionist. I wouldn't show it until it's ready, but the thing is, it'll never be ready. It'll never be good enough. My standards are so high. I'll never be like, nope, you can't see it yet. And I'll be here for 20 years still building a prototype, but I need help. So I got to like just bite a bullet and take a leap of faith and jump now. I don't know. I just got to jump, and then hopefully I'll fly, and then people will come fly with me, and we can all fly together and create a better world.
Yeah.
Ernie Klein, if you're listening, please promote this. Please, let's stop talking about the OASIS and let's freaking build it. Yeah, let's just build it.
We are building it. It's being built. It's being built. We're just revealing.
A lot faster, because I've been 8 years. It's felt like 800 years. I'm not joking. Every year it's felt like a lifetime.
4 weeks away from the OASIS ignition. 4 weeks. And I know this sounds crazy, but it is going to happen. I'm sure about this.
I've seen it now. I get the signs. I'm starting to have faith because, you know, I won't go too much about my personal journey. I stopped believing, and I didn't stop believing, but I went through a lot of hard knocks, and I got a lot of setbacks, and I lost a bit of my mojo, enthusiasm. I still never lost it. When I'm coding, I get it back. But when I wasn't coding, I was getting really depressed, and I'm just thinking, is it ever going to happen? You know, like so many false starts, and so many times money's coming, not coming. People help me, and they leave again, and I was just like, oh. You know what I mean? It's like the universe is playing me like a carrot, like in front of me, like not quite yet, not quite yet. But I think it's divine timing, and I think it is December 21st. That is the solstice point, and I realized that I always feel I'm late. I can't think I'm way behind schedule, but I actually think I'm actually bang on time. And this is a Superman journey. I had to go through this on my own in the fortress of solitude. Superman is in the fortress of solitude. I had to build this on my own, like until it's a certain point to pass my own crest. Pass my own inner journey, do my own inner shadow work, and learn some patience and surrender and trust. And now I've done the inner work, it's time for the outer work. Now the inner work will be reflected on the outer, because now the inner's sorted out, now reflect on the outer. And now it's time to like really build out fast. But I had to like pass the test.
Perfect. Perfect for Jupiter and Saturn showing up as almost one planetary body in the sky on December 21st, moving into Aquarius at the same time.
This is the dawning of the Aquarius.
Yeah.
David, you know that song as well. Come on, sing it with me.
Oh yeah, when the moon
yes,
in
the seventh house.
And Jupiter
performed by the Fifth Dimension.
And
that's not even subtle, is it?
This is
the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
The age of our world.
David, come on, sing, dude.
I don't know the words off the top of my head. I know the song. I can hear it, but I just had an idea. On the video, I'm gonna put a song on. On the end of this video, I'm gonna make it fade out. That music. I'm gonna make the music come on, and it'll fade out to the age of Aquarius. I thought it'd be good to do that maybe, and a fade on. At the beginning, it'll fade it like fade in, and then fade out at the beginning, and at the end, it'll fade out like the music. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Thanks, guys.
Okay, guys. Well, it's been amazing. Let's just share this with the people that we know. It's time for this to be shown. And I feel like, David, sharing this on Facebook. I would love to share it on my Facebook because many people follow me there. They've been tracking the progress on the things that I've been sharing and the process of creation. And I can tag you there, and we can tag people on that post. And I think that's gonna rapidly, make us weave with the power of, the social networking that we've been doing there, apart from any other place that we share this. But I think this is the most optimal way, and I want to do it now. So let me just share the recording as soon as possible. I will edit out that. You didn't see that, Mark, but David David started presenting, and at some point, like someone joined the call and started drawing on the screen, and like.
Oh, that's right. We had a troll. We had to delete them.
But it was incredible because it was in the most powerful moment that it was gonna be shown. It was like the universe saying, "No, please don't share this, don't release this," or some kind of forces there trying to prevent that. And they said, "No fucking way." And we just went on, exposed the troll, and restarted the discussion, which actually is brilliant because every interference just makes us more powerful and made us laugh so much that we refocus with a much better energy into it all. So
yeah, it's just funny because like me, I'm so grateful for Salumi, because he's only one, the first soul on the planet who and probably Mark as well, and everyone here actually. I'm really grateful to all of you. But Lumi's one we've been shouting. He saw the same thing. He saw the same vision, and like, and he saw how big it was. He saw how this unites everything. He kept saying, and I kept saying, I'm really grateful for sharing it, and he's saying how it unites everything. I said, yes, it's the thing that brings us all together. It's unity consciousness. And this, the other, won't go too far, but the other team, the other side, they know how powerful it is. They see the timelines. That's like the angels. Like, they see the timelines and they see what this is going to do to the world. And this is going to bring us all together. It's going to destroy all the silos. It's going to blow all the silos apart and bring us all together, like unify and integrate us as one. Because we're in the technology age, so we've got to start with a tech stack, and then the tech stack models gets reflected into the consciousness of humanity. Because everything right now is plugged into, we're all plugged into technology, aren't we? So we've got, this is like the antidote to the virus that humanity has had for all these years, separation consciousness, and all glued to our phones and Facebook, and we're all like separated.
Of unity,
but this is the antidote, and they know how dangerous it is. This is the thing that undoes it. I call it anti-brainwashing technology. That's what's built into OASIS, anti-brainwashing technology, and making us think about karma and unity consciousness and educating people about coming together. And that's why, yeah, I had a lot of roadblocks. That's why it's taking so long, guys. That's why if I had, like, it wasn't just not getting help, but it was also, I've had a lot of personal stuff, a lot of health issues. It's been ridiculous. I had roadblock after roadblock after roadblock put in front of me, like resistance. And I know it's been interference, like Chris has had the same thing, but that was all part of the plan. That's why he's Iron Man and I'm Superman. That's our archetypes, because we never gave up. It makes us stronger, and we suffered seriously, like serious health repercussions and our personal lives, and lost everything. But we kept going, because it's just been like roadblock after roadblock. But that was all part of the inspiring story, because it wasn't just like, oh, I got a vision, oh, here's some money, and like Silicon Valley, sell your soul to Silicon Valley, and here's some money and build it. No, we had to like carry on pioneering, building on our own, like through fire and brimstone and hailstones raining down on us, and like this constantly under fire, like machine gun fire, like World War I, we're just being shot at continuously, metaphysically, like a psychic attack. It's continuous. And now there's just sort of example there. You guys just saw it. I've been hacked continuously. I've had so much stuff like thrown at me. Like I can't even go into it. That's another freaking book and video on the blocks. But that was all part of the story. And that's the Superman story about how I didn't give up, and I just took a beating, and I just kept going and going. And probably others have got similar stories they can share. And that's what's going to inspire and empower everyone else. Like if we can do it, everyone can do it. Like there's no more excuses. Like, oh, it's too hard. It's like, no. Well, look what we did. We created this OASIS, like out of a hell zone, out of taking heavy fire and heavy casualties. Like, but we did it. Like we achieved a victory. So like that's going to be.
Here we are. Here we are,
yeah.
David. Here we are. Here we are. Phase zero. Phase zero. Phase
oh my God!
Zero.
Just
phase
as I said
zero,
that,
phase zero.
I just said that, and my phone just said the final step to your ascension journey just popped up.
It's the final countdown.
Confirmation. It's confirmation what I just said. This is the final. Yeah, this is the final. And that song came on the other day as well. That song came on when I released something. I think it was some big thing I was doing. Justice League.
Okay, guys. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up here. It's late here in Europe, a little bit later than where you are, David. Debbie or Mark, you want to make any final comment or remark before we close? And also, I think it's Lira here. I just can share, I want to share that I'm very proud of everything that you've done, David. I've been, following your work over the last, more intensely the last month. I know what you've been going through, the process that we've been going together in understanding who we were and what we represent, and what we've shared about our difficulties. But I am absolutely sure that everything that we go through is just meant to make us stronger and actually have the experience that would allow us to resonate with other people that have gone through similar experiences. And so everything that we go through is a blessing, can be seen as that, if we are able to see it from that perspective. So all that hardship that you've gone through that I am very aware of, I would say just maybe, a small percentage, because it's almost impossible to know the depth of everyone's inner journey. But what I've gone what I've got to know is really, you know, it's been intense, and I'm very proud of what you've been able to accomplish with so much, you know, things in the road. And I believe that this is a milestone, what you just shared with us, because it's gonna make it finally stay or be at the place that it was meant to be since the very beginning. And just let's explode this up. Let's implode it. Implosion is more about love. Explosion is more, implosion is love, which is actually about attraction into synergizing with what you have.
I have to do like I have to like a part. I think can we do a part 2 video? There's some more bits I want to go on to later on, and one thing is like
next Wednesday. We can organize next Wednesday another one for sure. I think we will meet, in fact. So mark that on your calendar.
I've got to go more into the .NET HDK and what you talk about with CRISPR and Philip Beadle and where his work, and I'm really working on integration. I'm going to fork that because that is similar to what my vision of the .NET HDK was, like a 5G wizard, so you can plug and play different bits. But imagine CRISPR in 10 years' time, a Holoscape thing. That's what I'm building. It's like it's the evolution of that. It's what comes next, and it's not just Holochain. It's like CRISPR for the whole world, like everything. So imagine integrating into OASIS API. That's why I really need Holochain and to take notice now and start supporting this, because this is going to be massive and it's going to really boost Holochain's exposure in the world. But I can't do it on my own anymore. It's massive. You saw there's so many bits I've started, and I've had to keep starting and stopping, changing in directions because it's overwhelming. What needs to be built. But I've laid the groundwork. I've laid the scaffolding. Now I just need people to help build it out now with me, please.
Yeah. Well, the SDKs are critical for getting that help, right? So that people can work on the different sections as they and how they fit into the whole architecture. That's why I mentioned CRISPR was simply because it's kind of a development tool, right? And maybe even just seeing some of the actual code of it, or just having a conversation with Philip, you know, can make another connection at the, you know, the sharing of network resources, development resources.
That's why I need people to help connect to me. This is what I won't go into all, but it's sort of interference. Like people don't respond. I message people. I've been trying to get hold of Philip Beale and many others in Holochain, and not just Holochain, everything. But it's just falls on deaf ears. I literally talking to a brick wall, and it's tumbleweeds like you see in my Telegram group. It's just interference all the time, but it's for part of my faith and patience. So I try to make connections, and then I can't connect if I don't respond. But I'm thinking that I needed to get a certain checkpoint, a certain milestone, like this video maybe, and how to get a certain way. I don't know. I've got to somehow increase people's value. You know, that's why I need you guys' help to help see people, help people understand what I'm building, what we're building here, so the value in their eyes increases, so they can give me the time of day to respond to my messages. I know the way busy people, I had to learn not to take it personally, but it's been very difficult to try and do it.
Well, a lot of their development cycles are really being pushed, especially during an economic crash. So yes, they're moving faster, and so have little time for a 2.5 to 3 hour video. So editing it down, getting it concise enough that it covers the pieces, and how pervasive, how extensive this architecture is, and some of those key hooks, you know, where, you know, you see where, oh my gosh, this will give us a whole bunch more exposure, whole bunch more integration, whole much more how we do it together.
Yeah. You can actually tag people. I mean, if this video is posted on Facebook, you can tag people and say, look at minutes 35,
exactly.
37. It's really easy just to have the overview, but just, you know, when people are watching or when we rewatch, we can tag, hey, we're mentioning you here, hey, so that we increase the, you know.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of, I've been using the transcripts on some of these long videos, and looking for keywords and leaving the timestamps there, so you can kind of index the longer videos to zoom in on what areas you'd like to hear. I even have been doing a lot of word maps based on videos, just to give the summary of what this long video focuses on. That's simple to do with YouTube videos.
I'm going to make them, because I was thinking about this for a while. I'm going to make a little video as well. Just go through the code again. You know the code I went through, but it's just going to be me. I'm just going to do my little video myself. Just talk through the code. It'd be like a little 10-15 minute, like, just because then it's not discussing, so not be like people aren't asking questions, and it'd be a much more concise version. So that'd be nice to pair with this. So that'd be like a quick version, and then you want to deep dive, you go into this longer video. That's another thing I was thinking about. So
beautiful. That's your ticket in the door. That's your ticket in the door.
It's 10-minute Oasis, quick glance, and if you want to jump into more discussions, then he's us talking about it, kind of thing.
Well, you remember when Nico did that. I think it was supposed to be like a 5-minute explanation of Holochain, and it ended up being closer to 8 minutes, but it was really good. And it's short enough that if you catch that, you can get developers helping you. And I don't know how big the team is at Holochain is now, but it's large. And a lot of that stuff can be boiled down, condensed into something that really hits some of the key integration aspects of these evolutionary platforms. And that gets showed. I shared with Lyra, she asked about gravity, and I put in to her private, I'm putting it in the main chat now, with Harlan talking about gravity for EXA, the Economic Space Agency. Those short little videos that conceptually cover what you're doing, but are technical enough that you go, oh yeah, I really see that how that works. Then that gets shared around, and that kind of goes viral on some of the developer groups, especially right now where things are shifting so much, and some systems are getting bought up and some systems are breaking up, and some real talent is sitting there available to work with you to help build it out further.
That gives me an idea. Just if we have that, like, short video form that, as you described, shows that this is real, and certainly it is from what we've seen today and knowing David. If we put that together with the Civil X trailer that Lumi sent me the other day, and another short form would be to demonstrate something around the crypto, the karma, and how we award things. Like I suggested, it was in the paper this week that the Mardi Gras parades are thinking of issuing a digital coin that a kid could redeem for a bicycle. Well, if we can use some identification application and machine learning to determine who's watching, like a child from Children's Hospital, for example, could receive a coin for their Make-A-Wish, or a needy child could receive a coin for a bike and go to the den and get it. So sorry, I'm like brainstorming here. I don't know. I thought maybe y'all would know a developer that could demonstrate that capability in the tokenization and redemption of a coin, and then put those three together with David Ellams, Our World, and a game like Civil X, where they have an amazing Unity-based user interface, and a redeemable token like Dream Coins at Dream Tank. Oh my God, I could show that to so many people in Louisiana right now. That would be incredible.
I've got the user interface as well. On top of that, did you see the video done in February of the Our World UI? I didn't show it in this presentation. Maybe that'd be next week, I think, because C's want to see that as well. The Unity front end. Have you seen the Unity front end? It's a 3D map of the world, and you can zoom in and pan around.
Oh, I did see it way back. I got to look at that again.
Yes, that is the front end. But that's why I wanted to wait until I had more Unity developers to help integrate the Quests and the Parks API. So you get Quests and Parks.
Yeah,
that's what he's been working on. But now he said to stop working again because he's got to go and it's working a full-time job. And that's why it's annoying. It's like, I keep thinking I'll be ready soon. And then that's why I've delayed it. That's why I've delayed this and delayed it and delayed it. And I can't delay it anymore. So I've just got to like, just release what I have. Because people want to play the front end, but it needs more work, and it needs to be plugged into the OASIS API, which that's what I'm going to do, and the Parks part. But it's close. It's all like everything's like 95%. It's so freaking close. But you know, tech stuff, it gets to 95% and stops. That's what it's like. It's got to 95%. It's so. I just need a few developers. Just need a couple of developers. Like after a few developers, over a month to 2 months, we'll be done. We have a prototype, a fully working prototype, fully integrated, front end and back end, and then we can get some serious attention and funding. I just need a little bit of help to push it over the line, you know, because just on my own, it's just trying to do the blogs and the website and all the non-techie stuff as well. It's just like, and with my health, I didn't get 2 to 3 hours a day productive time because I have to continue to just rest and meditate and do yoga and just like get nature, just to ground. It's been intense in these energies, so it's just been a lot. But that's all part of my journey, just trusting kind of thing. Even my 2 to 3 hours a day is still better than nothing. It's still moving forward, isn't it? So I'm hoping to speed up too as well.
Cool. Lida, I don't know if you're there. Maybe you want to make a question or something. I don't know if you're there. Lida and Nate from Great Works Alliance. Probably not. David, you wanted to say something to finish, wrap up?
Yeah, that was it really. I just say next week I'll talk more about the .NET HTK, about the advantages that has and things, you know, about how I was saying it basically, you know. I'll just wrap up. I'll just say like this 2 minutes is like .NET HTK enables you to build holochain applications faster. It opens up to .NET Unity ecosystems, which are massive. Opens up to the massive enterprise business world, because most people use .NET. And it's like a 4th generation language, but like CRISPR, you know, allowing them to just drag and drop and build applications really fast. So holochain applications, but also OASIS applications. So that's my vision of the .NET HTK that I started on. So it has many benefits. This is why I think when people understand what I'm building, I think holochain are going to get really excited and get on board with it. That was the first point. And the other point was, again, I'm going to go into more detail in another video. I've got this thing called the Justice League Academy and Your Second Chance. I'm about to release that to the world. And that's basically a next-gen developer training course teaching people everything they know, making apps and games, integrated with mindfulness, yoga, meditation. And then you can work on our world and his apps. You can build the OASIS application. No previous skills or experience, no background required, anything. You can just come and learn how to code, and you learn to code on a real application. So that's like believe in yourself again, and basically help find everyone's gift for the world, and basically help all disadvantaged people, homeless, unemployed, autistic people, kids on the streets. It's just to help everyone basically, and they can just come and build on a real applications rather than having to work on something that you just throw away again. So that's a little plug for that. So don't think you need to be a coder. If you're just interested in coding, then please come and contact us, because that's what the training course is for. So then, and as you're learning, you actually help build this. So it's a win-win, and then eventually you get paid as well. So that's another big thing. And the university is telling me to get that done. That's where I'm going to find my developers as well. So yeah, I just want to put a little plug for that in, and I'll talk more about that soon in the future.
Okay. Cool. Okay. David, brief. Yeah, cool. Let's keep talking on our threads, chats. Let's post this. David, share it with me, and let's keep this ball rolling. Put in your mind, David, next Wednesday as, you know, continuation, if not before, but at least,
yes,
you know.
I'll make this a recurring meeting on Wednesday if I can get everybody's email from you.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Good. Go into a bit more detail. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Cool. Thank you for your time.
Peace.
Thank you, David.
Great.
Peace.
Cheers,
bye,
guys.
Mark. Bye, David.